Hello, folks. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Legacy Bridge Builders, building bridges to your financial future. They have the business and the know-how to do what, Tiffany?
I don't know.
Oh, come on!
I know the slogan.
I know there was a slogan.
Life insurance, debt solutions, and fixed index investments.
Plan for your financial future.
Thank you. It's your business.
Honestly, I wasn't paying attention. You caught me off guard, so.
All right, so here we are. Welcome to our living room. Welcome to the craziness that we call home and family.
Seriously.
I fixed my hat.
And welcome to this evening with us. So tonight's episode, we're talking about Gen Z. See, and he brings out the bruh immediately. Like Gen Z is all about flat bills and puffy cheeks and duck lips in their pictures and looking like they're trying to pout or like they've been sucking on lemons when they take their selfies.
Sucking on lemons.
So we've got a pretty interesting little deal here that we're going to ask Jacob some questions. And he should know the answer to most of these things because he's been around a couple old people.
I'm not old.
It's a year difference.
So,
All right, almost 2 years now. Like, so
Yeah.
I'll be 41. She'll still be 40. She'll count it as 2 years.
you'll be 42.
Did I say 41?
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah,
I got
42. See, I'm old. I forget how old I am. Where's my teeth and my hearing aids?
the hearing aids need to be found.
Right.
All right,
He's
so
fat.
you've got some questions to ask him
Yes.
to see if he knows what these things are. And some of you folks that are not Generation Z, some of you that were born in the 80s or before should know a lot of these answers. And the answers that he gives, you may start laughing. So I hope
I'm
this is
kinda
entertaining.
scared.
All right, go ahead, Tiff.
Dial up. What is dial up?
Dial up? What? I don't know.
You just have to at least guess. Like, what does it sound like?
I don't know. Like, you gonna call somebody?
Bobby?
You want me to answer?
Yeah, you have to explain to him what it
Okay.
is. He has to know.
So dial up, we didn't just get to click a button on our phone to get on the internet. So we actually had to click on this this icon, because I don't want to give it away. It's one of the questions in a little bit. Had to click on an icon, and then it would connect, and you would actually hear the computer pick up the phone, give a dial tone, something that you have actually heard from a landline, and then you would hear the number dial, and you'd hear all this screeching, all this data information before you were
And
connected.
it took a minute.
And then downloading pictures,
No.
it could take a while,
No.
depending on your connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Damn.
what is AOL?
I don't know.
No guesses. Like, you have to have some sort of guess.
I don't know.
You have no idea what AOL.
No.
America Online. That's how we got on the internet.
That was also our first form of texting. AOL Messenger. Messaging.
No, it was not our first form of texting.
It wasn't?
Nope. You
What was
have
that?
that question in a little bit.
I do?
Yep.
Okay. What is a floppy disk?
Keep it PG. There are kids, and this is a family show.
Judah giggled. What's a floppy disk?
Soft CD.
Kind of.
Almost.
It kind of is. So it was a small disc that went into a computer, and it had all the data and stuff in it. So the inside of it was a disc, but the outside was a plastic square.
Oh.
And it had this little slide on the end of it. When it went in, the computer would slide it over and be able to read the disc.
Not as easy as your little sticks.
Yeah, it's not like a thumb drive.
Okay. What's a cassette tape?
Oh wait, I know this. What is a cassette tape? I know this, but I don't know this. What's a cassette tape?
Your truck still has the thing
Oh
in it.
yeah, it's like a CD, but it's like a little tape that you push in. The little
Yes,
players.
yes. All right. He drives a 96 Silverado, so it does still have the split stereo.
Okay, yeah, I didn't
So it
know
has
what
the
it was.
cassette
My brain was just
in the top
lagging.
and the disc in the bottom.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So, what is Blockbuster?
What was?
What was? I
Blockbuster?
don't even know what I'm gonna say. What is?
Wasn't it like
Was?
a store that had all like movies, like Redbox, but as a store?
Yes, yes.
And they might have 2 copies of a movie, or they might have.
They might just have one. They could have 6, but you had to go in there and see what was on the shelf to see what you could rent.
And if
for a
it was
couple nights.
something new, you probably weren't gonna get it for a while.
Dang.
Okay. What is VHS?
Like a bigger cassette tape?
Yeah.
For what?
For movies?
Yes.
They know that because they had a VHS.
Right. They had VHS. They had
Yeah.
nearly every kid movie.
Yeah.
Okay. What is a beeper?
Beeper?
A
Yeah.
beeper.
What is a
Something
beeper?
that beeps?
Okay. I mean,
Like,
obviously,
wait,
the
it's
verbiage
gotta
says
be like,
anything ending in ER is one who does something, right?
yes. Okay, it's got to be like a way to contact somebody.
Yes,
Okay.
it's
Right.
also known as a pager, but I called it a beeper, so it would be more.
Because that's what we called
Okay.
them, were beepers. Because originally in the design, they just made one tone and it was beep 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 beep. You couldn't change it. You had no option other than vibrate or beep.
I remember when my dad got his first pager, we could only page him if it was an emergency because he didn't have a cell phone, so he'd have to go find a payphone. Or
And so what you would do is you would call, and then it would give you a tone,
Ow.
and then you would type in the number that you wanted that person to call back. So that was essentially our first form of text messaging.
I
Because
wasn't counting that.
We would, as teenagers, when we got beepers, then you knew who it was if you got 07734, because you pick it up, and of course it was like this big right here, and it had a little clip that went on your pocket or your belt.
Yeah.
And so if it said 07734, you flip it over and it says hello. And we got creative on what codes were, what certain numbers meant, and if you flipped it upside down, you could read different things. So that was our first form of texting. Okay, so what was a two-way? A two-way was the first beeper that actually had a keyboard where you could actually type messages and send to other people that had two ways.
Ooh.
Top of the line. Okay, so what is a card catalog?
A file thingy for cards.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Used where?
Somewhere.
For finding what?
What would you use it to find things? What kind of things would you find?
Phone numbers? I don't know.
It was used in a library to be able to find books.
Oh.
So you knew where they were.
You couldn't just go to Kindle or what's the other Audible.
Yeah.
You couldn't just get books online and listen to them. You actually had to read back in our day.
Could you imagine life without a cell phone or the internet?
I could, but like I wouldn't be able to talk to him.
Okay, so
I would have a boring life.
what is an encyclopedia?
Like a book of information.
Have you ever used an encyclopedia?
I think
I think I made you when you were younger
Yeah.
or something.
I had to do it for school or something.
Way younger.
Well, but we were going through Becca and all of that stuff is like really outdated.
Mm-hmm. It was.
So, do you know what form of shopping we used before there was Amazon? Like if you just go to a store and they don't have what you want?
Go to another store.
Yeah, because there's so many of those. No, you had to look through a catalog and call a number and order it. And then you had to wait weeks and weeks and weeks to get it.
Yep, we had.
Why would you do that?
we had Sears, and we had Finger Hut, and Avon, and those were like, some of the main catalogs to get things. Like, and then before us, like the main thing was like before my generation was Sears and Roebuck, and those were valuable catalogs.
The catalog, like Sears catalogs,
they
used to
were
be so
thick.
thick.
Dang.
Okay, so these are more did you know? So think about our generation when our parents used to drop us off at the mall to hang out with our friends. They were dropping us off with no way to contact us for hours. It was just drop us off. Hey, I'll be here at such and such time to get you.
Then you better be at the front door when I come back to pick you up.
So you could really go anywhere you wanted.
Yeah, but we feared our parents, so we didn't go anywhere we wanted.
And-
I did at least.
And so you think information travels fast now? Like without cell phones and without GPS and Life 360, our parents knew what we did before we got home.
How?
The network.
Yeah.
I promise you that my parents had somebody sitting, some adult sitting where we were supposed to be watching
Right.
and going to a payphone and making calls.
Speaking of payphone, so if we had to an emergency or to call somebody, that's why we had to use payphones.
Mm-hmm.
And then just hope that somebody's at home because our parents didn't have cell phones.
Right?
Dang.
Yeah.
it could-
So I actually had this conversation with your daddy this morning that he said he got a little embarrassed. He was at a funeral and forgot to turn his phone on vibrate.
Oh.
And so it went off. He said it was pretty embarrassing. And for him, the older generation, they still understand respect
Yeah.
and reverence.
Yeah.
And so in a funeral, Josh, please, son, in a funeral, you want reverence and respect. And so he had forgot to turn his phone on vibrate. But the thing is, like, most everybody he knows knew that he was at a funeral.
Yeah.
But it's the idea that we have now that you have to be reachable. You have to be available 24/7 to everybody around you. And if I call you and you don't answer the phone, I get upset because I should be able to get a hold of you. Right?
Yeah.
And there were times where you would call somebody's house and before caller ID, you just have to wait a while. If we had answering machines. So it was a cassette tape and it would pick up after so many rings and then it would actually record the conversation. You'd have to come home and hit the button and listen. But before that, you'd have to keep calling till somebody got home and was there to call you back.
Okay, so these days,
Dang.
a new song premieres, and you get to hear it right away. Right, Spotify, even before they premiere, usually like YouTube, they release a snippet of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Instagram, TikTok.
Instagram, TikTok, social media.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to wait for a radio station to hear a new song, to play it when they wanted to play it.
Mm-hmm. The music companies had a lot more control over that stuff. Now you can go to a concert and they can release a new song at a concert. Everybody's got it on their phone. They're videoing the whole concert, putting it on Facebook Live. So why would anybody have to buy concert tickets?
Yeah.
If you're going to spend $300 to go to a concert, and then I can just watch it on your live, right? Or until your phone goes dead.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that when we were kids. Like we actually had to go stand in line to buy concert tickets, or we had to call Ticketmaster. There wasn't internet.
No, that's
to do that.
actually down here. Where was it? I forgot. I had it written down. But yeah, where you had to go stand in line to buy tickets for a concert.
Mhm.
That would suck so much.
Right?
You get mad now when you get put in a queue for tickets. So let's see here. Oh yeah. We only learn lyrics by reading them on the paper.
If they were put in the if they were put in the CD or the cassette tape, or you had to record the song from the radio and then sit and rewind and play and write it
hope that
down.
you're hearing it
Rewind and play and write it down. And then you learn the song. Because it wasn't very likely to be played over and over and over and over again on the radio.
Right.
There wasn't all this request it now and we'll play it in 5 minutes. Like you had to wait on the phone and you couldn't be driving down the road on the phone with the radio station trying to get your song played. So we do request nights on Friday or Saturday night. And so during the week on Friday afternoon at school, we'd be like, hey, I'm going to get on tonight and I'm going to give you a shout out and I'm going to make them play this song. This is our song. Whether it was a bro song or whether it was a guy to a girl. And so then they would say, hey, this song is dedicated to so-and-so, or this song is from Bobby. He wanted to say what's up to so-and-so and then play the song. So we would sit around.
Everything seems so complicated.
Right?
How did you have enough time in the day to do anything?
Also,
I'm so busy.
Because we
waiting
weren't
and
wrapped up
going
in
places.
these.
I mean, we didn't know any different. But also, when you watched a movie, VHS, you had to rewind it when you were done.
Oh
Just
yeah,
go
I
to
didn't
the
know
title
that.
screen. And then,
But if you fell asleep, most VCRs would go all the way to the
automatically
end,
rewind them.
and then it would go, and then it would stop, and then it would rewind itself.
Yeah.
But you had to get through that tone.
We
first.
also memorized phone numbers. Do you know your friends' phone numbers?
I know some of them.
That's my phone number. Don't say it. Don't say it. Do you know it?
Yes.
Because there's somebody listening out here that doesn't have it, and I don't want 100,000 people calling me. I don't want to have to change my number.
Yeah, so that's the concert ticket ones. Oh, yes, movie phone. You had to call movie phone. If you wanted to watch a movie at the theater, you couldn't just look it up to see what was playing, when it was playing. You had to call a number. You know what movies were playing and what time.
Oh my God.
So a lot of you folks that'll catch this on the replay or whatever, you're gonna be listening to this going, gosh, I remember that. Those were great times. Man, can I just stomp a mud hole in my phone right now and go back to the way things used to be? It did seem like it was so much simpler and it was way less hectic.
Yes, but
Right?
last one is, so we have the weather readily available on our phones now.
Immediately.
But we used to have to either stay up till
10 o'clock.
9:30, 10 o'clock, watch the news for the weather, or get up early in the morning and watch the weather. Those were your only chances. Or read it in the newspaper.
And if you wanted to know the temperature,
You could call.
you couldn't just pick up your phone and look and go, oh, well, the temperature is 41 degrees outside. You had to actually call 476-3456. And then it would ring, and then it would pick up, and it would go, Tipton County Bank time. You know, whatever the time was.
Yeah.
The current temperature is whatever it was outside.
I would just not care what the temperature is. I just walk outside. Yeah, it's cold. Let me get a jacket.
Okay, so now we got it because we can't go forever. We got to move on to Gen Z. Gen Z is, some people say, 97
Yeah,
to
so
2012.
give or take. In every generation, there's a couple years, give and take. There's a couple years in the beginning, couple years in the end, where they kind of fluctuate back
It's
and
more
forth.
98 to 2010.
Depends on the source. So most of the time, you're looking at like 98 to 2010, but
So we have two Gen Z kids.
the whole big thing was like 97 to 2012 is the biggest gap we saw.
Okay, so apparently Gen Z makes up currently 28% of the population, which is frightening to me.
Right?
And then what did it say? We read one about the workforce. They'll
In the next 3 to 5 years, there'll be over 30% of the workforce.
y'all, we might be in trouble. Like, I'm pretty sure our parents probably thought the same thing about our generation.
Right.
But I don't know. This generation. Okay, so Gen Z has grown up with electronics and the internet. They know no other life. They are also the hardest working generation at not working
A real job.
Like they'll do what are those? What is it?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. They'll do OnlyFans and call that a job.
Yeah.
or little stuff on Etsy. I mean, just dumb little piddly stuff. Like a lot of them aren't even creative with
They're
their own
not
stuff.
creative. Like that's the thing. Like everything seems to be a copy of something else. It's like, oh, well, so and so is knitting these little coasters, or so and so is making this little thing. Well, I'll make it and I'll sell it, and it's just doubling and tripling the market. It's not really having anything unique in your own. They just copy everything. So I always see these memes and stuff like that. I get into meme wars with people, just as comedy. Milli Vanilli would be upset over TikTok these days because all these people being famous lip syncing other people's songs. Right? They got condemned for it and shut down because it said that they were lip syncing their songs. And so they work the hardest at not working a real job.
Yes, like selling your stuff on the, never mind, I even go there because it's broke.
Yeah. So I was talking to a manager of a warehouse this past week, and she's ex-military, so she knows what a chain of command is. She knows the value of doing things the correct way and doing it right the first time. So she expects to run everything and manage people in the same general way. And she says that everyone that she has working for her that's under 30 years old whines and cries over everything. They're so soft. And she said that she has mid and upper 20-year-olds that call off in the mornings because their girlfriend or their boyfriend broke up with them, or they had a fight and they can't come to work today. Are you kidding me, man?
It's crazy.
That's bad.
Also, Gen Z does not keep a job. For the most part, there are exceptions to the rules, okay? Longer than 12 months. Because they get...
I've almost had a job that long.
Exactly. But they get
Actually,
butthurt over that somebody's making more money than them, or somebody got the position they wanted, or somebody said something ugly to them. And so instead of, they'll just quit a job without having another job lined up.
Mm-hmm. So right now, there are 7 million American able-bodied men that are without a job and are not currently looking for a job, and by polling said that they don't care if they get another job.
And that's men. Jeez. So they're obviously easily offended, entitled, and they just get their feelings hurt real easy.
Right. So the reason why we've been going through this, here's where we get to our point, right? Y'all bear with us for 23 minutes. So in John chapter 17, verses 14 through 16, it says, Jesus says, I have given them your word, and the world hates them because they do not belong to the world, just as I do not belong to the world. I'm not asking you to take them out of the world, but to keep them safe from the evil one. They do not belong to this world any more than I do. And verse 17 says, make them holy by your truth. Teach them your word, which is truth. So that's why we have Jacob on here, because I want to highlight the difference that he is in his generation, that he could easily fall into the same stuff that everybody else does. And I have greater expectations for him than that. And I've taught him better than that. That a lot of times you'll feel like I'm hard on you. But look at how much better things are. When you see everybody around you calling out from work, not doing their job, and it makes you do more, right? Because, I mean, the job has to be done, right? And if they don't do it, somebody else has to pick up that slack. So I have done my best to teach Jacob to outwork any 3 people in the room. You know, if it doesn't matter who they are, because you're always going to be picked. You're always going to have work to do. And most likely on your days off or in need of extra money or overtime or anything like that, or even promotion, you're going to get the opportunity first. If they see your hard work and dedication and you're already used to outworking them, then that benefits you down the road, right?
Yeah.
So you've already gotten a couple promotions.
Yeah.
In less than a year.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you start? Did you start the end of January or the 1st of February last year?
I think the first day I worked was January 30th last year.
So almost a year and already gotten 2 promotions because he's not afraid to get his hands dirty. He's not afraid to work. He's not afraid to get in and say, hey, what can I do? Or, hey, can I help you with that? Because a lot of times you'll realize that people today will walk into a workplace and stand
and wait to be told what to do.
Wait to be told what to do and then complain when somebody tells them to work.
Yeah.
That gets on my nerves so
Like,
much. Oh my God.
You're not here to just walk in and stand and waste air and get a paycheck.
Well, they just can't think for themselves, which is partly our generation's fault because as parents, we didn't teach them better for the most part. I mean,
right. Yeah, by and large, yes. The main.
Hey, yeah, like I mean,
y'all's generation raised my generation.
Yeah, and there
That's
are
your fault.
exceptions, but then like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we failed as a generation to raise our kids properly for the most part.
Well, that's why we try so hard. That's why we have a show like this to encourage you to see the things that are messed up in this world, give you a biblical world view and perspective to see, hey, look, do everything as if doing it for the Lord your God, because God's watching you. That is true character. When you know that you respect and you fear God, you know Christ, but you fear God, that he is the ultimate judge and that everything done is going to be accounted for. Whether it's good or bad, it's going to be accounted for. And whatever you do in darkness will one day be brought to light. So you want to have good character. You want to have good biblical character that whenever Jesus comes back or whenever your name is called and you take your last breath, will you be found faithful? Right? Mm-hmm. And so we do see this constant stair step down of what the generations are lacking. And the generation before us, like our parents and our grandparents, were probably looking at us, like you said earlier, going, come on, kid, just get it. When's it going to click? Right? Because there's always something. A copy of a copy of a copy continues to go downhill more and more. And if we don't fix it, if we don't make the adjustments, and thank you, and go back to the way things are supposed to be, it's going to continue to go downhill.
Yeah.
We won't see improvements. Like now, because so many people are so upset and offended over everything. Well, No Child Left Behind has been in the schools for several years, but now there's actual talk. Like we have noticed the grading scale has changed.
Oh, yes.
So I would have graduated top of my class if I had the grading scale that they have now. I would have had so much more leniency and I wouldn't have had to try half as hard.
We're just making folks dumber. All
so now they're about to step the grading scale down even more because the kids can't pass. Right, and it's not fixing the problem.
Yes.
It's changing the scale to make it look better on paper.
And just think, these people, these idiots, are going to be our leaders.
She did point it in.
It was like not you, but pointed at me.
You are the representation of your generation.
Yes, tonight. But for real though, they're going to be our leaders one day. And while we have a clown right now, I can only imagine if it gets worse.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, we gotta hope that
we're gonna be doing lots of praying.
We can change something. So that's the importance of voting. The importance. Yeah. The importance of doing the right thing. So no matter who's watching, no matter who's listening, always doing the right thing.
Yes.
Right? All right, so close us out, Tiff. What you got?
Why did you put me on the spot?
Because that's the best part.
I don't have anything. No. Okay, so just so you Gen Zers listening don't get offended, not all of you suck, just most of you. I'm just saying.
Not all of you, but most of you suck.
Yes, they do.
Okay,
Anyways,
so real quick, look at the
I thought I was
handful.
closing us
Look
out.
at the handful of friends that you have, and tell me how many of them work harder than you do.
Oh, none.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, so get butt hurt, get offended if you won't. It's truth.
And the truth shall set you free.
Yes. So y'all have a great night.
Thank y'all for watching. We hope y'all get a giggle out of this. We went just barely over 30 minutes. So we hope to see you again on the next one. We love y'all. We appreciate you. We pray that you have a great week. God bless you. And we out.
Bye.
Bye.